Guardians, what's going on, guys? Your boy Sly here, and welcome back to another Destiny video. So let's talk some Destiny 2 news. While in Bungie fashion, right now we're experiencing a news content drought, but there have been some things to talk about this past week. But before we get into all of that, first of all, happy 4th of July, guys. Or if you're Canadian, I know Canada Day wasn't that long ago, so belated Canada Day. Hope you all are having an awesome time with family and friends. So be safe out there this week. And also, I have a bit of a cold, as you guys can tell, or I'm about to get sick, one of the two, I'm not really sure. I know it needs to end, but anyways, that's how life goes, I guess. Anyways, so like I was saying, a few things have popped up this past week, and since being a Guardian, that means you absolutely crave Destiny news 24/7. So I wanted to put out another latest news video. So let's go ahead and get to it, guys. Speaking of content drought, if you believe what Activision has to say, no more content droughts for Destiny 2. Eric Hirschberg, CEO of Activision, said he wasn't impressed with the cadence of Destiny. Quote, I have not been happy with the cadence of new content. We got a lot right with Destiny 1, but one of the things we didn't do was keep up with the demand for new content, he said. I feel like that, as great as The Dark Below, House of Wolves, Taken King, and Rise of Iron all are, clearly there was an appetite for more. So what does this mean? Well, Activision has freed up some of its own internal studios to help Bungie in making more content for Destiny 2. Quote, one thing you'll see post-launch of Destiny 2 is that we've got additional AAA developers from inside the Activision ecosystem working with Bungie on Destiny content, including Vicarious Visions and High Moon. That will allow us to keep an even more robust pipeline of content in the ecosystem. Now, this is a tough road, guys. I mean, it's pretty much akin to your boss going behind your back and saying, sure, my employee can pump out 3 times the amount of work in an 8-hour day. I mean, regardless of the workforce, guys, it just takes time. Creating new stories and new games, it doesn't happen out of thin air. There's a lot more to it than just creating something inside of a PC. Alright, so moving along to some other news, some cryptic raid information has popped up in a recent interview with Luke Smith. While this is far from concrete, it does tell us a core theme for the next raid. Now, if you think about it, each raid has a unique theme or element within them. For instance, Crota is about one player leading a team. Others, like King's Fall, involve auras, or splitting up and then grouping up. And this is evident in pretty much every single unboss counter in King's Fall. You split up at totems with an aura and then meet in the middle. You split up at War Priest, meet up under an aura for damage. You split up at Golgoroth, then meet up for damage. Oryx, you split up at platforms, then meet back in the middle, and then split back up for detonation. Wrath of the Machine was about fast-paced encounters, moments of glorious combat as Smith described it, followed by long periods of scenery or scenic storytelling. Every raid has these themes strewn throughout the encounters. And when talking about raid number 5, which will be the raid Destiny 2 launches with, Luke Smith said this time it's about a sense of place. Quote, raid 5, when we looked at it, was about building a place you believe is real. That was our priority, he said. When asking Luke Smith if a sense of place is this raid's underlying theme or heartbeat, he giggled and said, quote, I have a real good secret I can't share yet. He continued on to say, quote, a place you could believe exists. It's unlike anything that we've done. The team here is incredibly talented and it is a joy to see them work, end quote. So while nothing is really said or confirmed in this interview, a sense of place does get you thinking. And when the director behind King's Fall tell you it's like nothing we've ever done, well, that gets me excited because King's Fall is easily one of the best raids in Destiny, tied only to the Vault of Glass. Alright guys, so moving along, and while we're on the topic of news, something you all might want to keep an eye out for, and that's IGN. While I personally am not a fan of companies making deals in which other companies get the rights to announce content first or exclusives, IGN will have several of these over the next few weeks. There are 3 PvP modes to be revealed, and much more. On July 5th, which is tomorrow, IGN will take us to the new social space called The Farm, and like I said, a ton more later in the month. Again, while I don't agree with exclusives, we really don't have a choice here. But if you are a Destiny fan, it's pretty hard to resist. The link, as always, is in the description box below. Also, if you haven't checked it out yet, last week's weekly update, or This Week at Bungie, is aimed at clan founders or leaders. If you plan on transferring your clan to Destiny 2, then you might want to go have a read. It goes over some crucial dates and steps you need to take before the cutoff in August. If you do not transfer, or at least transfer the rights to someone so they can do it, then your clan will be disbanded. You'll have to recreate one in Destiny 2 if that happens. Alright guys, and finally let's talk about weapons. While it has already been confirmed that there is indeed a vault in Destiny 2, one thing we are just now learning about are what we're going to fill it with. So instead of having 3 weapons with mediocre rolls as backups just in case you never get that god roll, well, fear not my friends, only god roll weapons we will be seeing are the ones Bungie decides for us. All weapons and armor in Destiny 2 will feature static rolls, guys, meaning every gun has predetermined perks on them. If you buy a weapon from a vendor 1 week and then pick up the same weapon out in the wild a few weeks later, they will have identical traits and identical perks. Armor is said to be the same way. Now, while armor isn't really that big of a deal, weapons, on the other hand, well, that's a different story. Once again, Destiny 2 is punishing us for D1's PvP problems. Luke Smith said that it will give them more flexibility to do per item tuning, which is something they could not do in Destiny 1. So if you're a hardcore Destiny player, think about how many weapons we delete as of right now. Sometimes, we keep a few of them due to good rolls. But in Destiny 2, now think about how many you're going to have to delete due to them being the exact same. Like all of them, this is a huge change, guys. And maybe one for the better in PvP, but not in PvE. We're already losing an entire weapon slot due to these balancing issues, and now we're losing flexibility on what will be our favorite weapons. There are more subtle differences between weapons than most people think. For instance, the Vision of Confluence and the Treads Upon Stars. Both scout rifles, they are identical in just about every way. Well, why is the Vision of Confluence so much more popular? Because of the way it handles, recoils, and its aim assist. While the Treads is a damn good weapon in itself, it will always be second place in most cases. Hopefully this won't become a huge issue later on down the road, but as always we'll have to wait and see. Okay, Guardians, and the last piece of news here, Recoil and the PC. While we all know shooting on mouse and keyboard is way more precise, how does a console shooter feel good when brought over to the PC? Well, turns out Bungie is basically getting rid of recoil altogether. That's right, guys, there will be 0 recoil on PC. Now, on a controller, it feels good for a gun to pull a certain way, or slightly fight it to maintain control. It brings a sense of realism to it. However, on a mouse setup, recoil is very annoying. You have to consistently keep picking up the mouse and bringing it back up so you don't run out of room on your desk. It doesn't really work the same way, A lot of games use reticle bloom or accuracy as a way to avoid guns becoming automatic snipers. Some have recoil, some use both. My favorite is a combination, or having recoil where after you stop shooting, it snaps back to the center. This encourages burst fire, but still leaves fully automatic firing open if you wish to deal with it. But most games have some kind of recoil, however small. But for Bungie to go 0 recoil, well, that's a bold move, guys. I know gamers wanted crossplay in Destiny, and of course rightly so, but with 0 recoil and the mouse and keyboard accuracy advantage, maybe we're better off, guys. But that's it, Guardians, the latest news from the world of Destiny. Sorry if I sounded a little off. Like I said, I'm either currently recovering or fighting off a cold. I haven't felt 100% the last 3 or 4 days, so don't know if I'm about to get sick or if this is it. In any case, I hope you guys heard me just fine. Alright guys, happy 4th of July, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for watching and as always for supporting my channel. We're getting close to 20,000 subscribers, guys. I feel some giveaway awesomeness on the horizon. I plan on having a giveaway for 20K and for the release of Destiny 2, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, feel free to check me out on Twitter or Facebook. Sly Nation Gaming. It's the best place to stay up to date on everything Destiny, Destiny 2, Mass Effect, and of course, the upcoming game Anthem. Take care, guys. Have a great week and keep those eyes open for more Destiny 2 coverage as we get closer to the beta. But until then, this is your boy Sly, and I'll catch you all next time.